All right, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining me again. Sam the electrician here, speaking about Western independence, Alberta separation. Today, I wanted to talk about the Fair Deal plan that Jason Kenney rolled out in his keynote speech this last Saturday, November 9th, in Red Deer at the Manning Conference. It was a speech that a lot of people in the media said was pivotal for his career. That remains to be seen, of course. But he made it and he rolled out this plan. So let's get into it. The plan essentially is to form a committee of notable Albertans and others who will travel the province and hold town hall style meetings between November 16th and January 20th of next year. And their mandate is to discuss the points of the Fair Deal plan, which is an edited version, modified version of the firewall letter, and report back by March 31st to Jason Kenney and the Alberta government on the citizens' interest and enthusiasm towards these plans. Jason Kenney has said that he will then hold referendums on the ones that have the most interest, or none or all. He didn't say exactly, so obviously probably the ones that get the most enthusiasm. The people sitting on the committee are an interesting bunch for sure. Preston Manning, Stephen Lougheed is also on there. There's a former MLA from Calgary, Donna Kennedy Glantz. There's the former Minister of Economic Diversity for Western Canada. There is Jason Goodstriker, the former regional chief of the Assembly of First Nations. There are three current MLAs, Cypress Medicine Hat, Banff Kananaskis, and Fort Mac, and a PhD law professor. So interesting group there. The plan itself, as I said, is an edited version, modified version of the firewall letter. It has some of the big ones that we've already discussed. Getting out of the CPP, Canadian Pension Plan, and starting an Alberta Pension Plan. Ending our contract for rural policing with the RCMP and setting up an Alberta-run provincial police force. Collecting all taxes in Alberta by an Alberta revenue agency, as that is actually an a provincial responsibility under the Constitution. There's also the setting up of the Chief Firearms Office in Alberta, so common sense gun laws can be made for and by Albertans and not dictated to us by people far away who live in a very different situation, as I've said. And opt out of federal cost share programs. And there's a few others. It's a good list of points that should definitely be considered by all Albertans, whether you're a separatist or a federalist. If you're a true Albertan, these should at least be given some serious thought and some debate. For us separatists, it's a no-brainer. It's a first step on the road to independence and sovereignty. So we definitely want to see as many of these ideas as possible implemented or even talked about to keep the interest up in the public and the pressure on the government. As I've said before, I believe Jason Kenney is just reacting and scrambling to hold on to his power base and the right-wing vote for the next provincial election, which I know it just happened, but in politics, one election cycle is very quick and goes by quite quickly. And he has to keep his finger on the pulse of the province, as it were. So, of course, the opposition I thought was quite humorous. Rachel Notley chimed in to the press and said that his speech was dangerous, of course, using fear tactics of the left, which is pretty typical. Doom and gloom tactics of anyone in opposition. That's just typical politics. The thing that she said that made me laugh a lot was the Jason Kenney didn't run on any of these issues. as if he's not allowed to talk about them just because he didn't run on them. Well, I'd like to remind Miss Notley that you didn't run on bringing in a carbon tax into Alberta, and you had no mandate, and then you shoved your carbon tax down our throat for this imaginary concept called social license, which did not pan out at all. We still had no new pipelines. You got nothing done on the energy file. So you really shouldn't be throwing stones about people not running on these issues. These issues are a groundswell that popped up, and Jason Kenney is reacting to them. He is not driving this narrative. The narrative is being driven by the people. And coming from a left-wing socialist party, you should really have your finger more on the pulse of the people. I don't believe that any of these politicians truly understand what's going on. Yeah, so running out of time. I like to keep these videos shorter. So that's about all I have to say today about the Fair Deal plan. I'm sure we'll go into it in further videos. So thanks for joining me. Take it easy.